Ciao a tutti, come state? Io abbastanza bene. Oggi parliamo della forma di cortesia. But don't go away too soon because at the end of the video there is an important thing for you. Ok, the courtesy form. Formal speech or dare del lei. I'm sure you've heard of it, but maybe you don't know how to use it or how to recognize it. Vediamo un po'. Let's have a quick look at these examples, which I'll read right now. Signora, può parlare a voce più alta? Dottore, mi dice perché sto male? Salve, signor Rossi, come sta? And let's compare them with these other sentences quite similar. Alessandro, puoi parlare a voce più alta? Michele, mi dici perché sto male? Ciao Rosa, come stai? Look at the verbs. Don't these seem strange, but you don't know why? It's actually very simple. They are normal verbs but conjugated at the third singular person. Although you're speaking in a direct speech, so you're supposed to use the to person, second singular, to be clear. Why is that? Because sometimes we have to use a formal way to speak, and that is how formal speech works in Italian. The informal stylistic register is usually used with friends, colleagues, relatives, while the polite form is used with superiors in a work setting, for example, elderly people you don't know, and general with every stranger in public places, such as at the supermarket, unless he is a very young person, or it's your age and very easygoing. Historically, the usage of these various forms had cultural, political, and social connotations. Fortunately, we don't have to bother anymore about negative or political connotations, and despite the fact that the informal speech is way more spread and used, especially by the new generations, it's always a very good manner to use the courtesy form in the cases above. You can still be very polite by always saying salve, buongiorno, buonasera, grazie, mi scusi, or chiedo scusa. Instead, if the speech is more informal, you can simply say ciao. To review that, you can click on the above link for my lesson about the greetings. It was one of my first lessons. Of course, it is very important to recognize the formal speech and eventually being able to respond to people that address you in this way. One important thing, the expression used to shift through these registers is diamoci del tu, if, of course, we want to switch to the informal speech. Otherwise, it's diamoci del lei, which is more rare because a person shall be pretty offended by the other for saying this to him. Although in TV shows, especially trash TV, and very, very formal environments such as, I don't know, courtroom, this can happen. Okay, so diamoci del lei means let's switch to a more formal register. Speak to me with respect. Let's have a look at these other examples in the chart, and remember, for the polite form we use the pronoun lei, capital, both for men and women, and the verb in the third person singular. Also, very, very formal is using the pronoun loro, them, with the third plural person verb to refer to voi, you plural. That is to say, I meet you and your mother, or you and your friend, and I say, come stanno loro? But I'm speaking to you. This is very, very formal environments. So, the examples. Perché non vieni a cena con noi anche tu, Maria? Informale, colloquiale. Perché non viene a cena con noi anche lei, signora Rossi? Formale. You see it by the verb at the third singular person, although I'm speaking directly to you, signora Rossi. And then, scusa, non ricordo, quanti figli hai, Giada? So, I, informal, while scusi, non ricordo quanti figli ha, signora, it's formal. Attenzione, because it's not mandatory to say signora or signore, so if it's an exercise, you can simply find the verb at the third singular form and having trouble recognizing the subject because of the lack of the pronoun lei, so be careful. Let's start with this exercise together. What is the correct phrase? Scegli la frase corretta. Salve signora, come sta? Or salve signora, come stai? Well, since you see signora, it's naturally formal. So now the verb should be at the third singular person. Therefore, the correct sentence is salve signora, come sta? It is really important being very at ease with the conjugations of the verb. Otherwise, if you still mix them up, you shall review them. Follow the link above for my first lesson about the verbs and the conjugations. You can continue the exercise by yourself and only at the end look at the solutions, which I put upside down, not to make you blind, but to push you through this effort. Okay, so don't cheat. Also, do this exercise to recognize when we should use a formal or informal register, or eventually if them both can be suitable. And let me know about that in your comments. Guys, the lesson is over, but I promised you an important thing, so there it is. Don't forget to download this document you find in the description. It is a test based on your knowledge up to now. So if you do that, you can first of all auto-evaluate yourself, because the exercises are made with a score system for each answer. But if you do the test and send it to me at my email valeitaliantutor@gmail.com, I'll publish it with your answers and eventually my review. Keep up the good job, guys. Fate buon lavoro. Join me on Facebook and Instagram. Put a like if you like the video, and if you like my content, subscribe to my channel. And as usual, comment to make it better or for doubts. Ciao, alla prossima!